Alright, I guess I have been traveling a ton, so I have not been doing much videos, but I'm gonna go over all the trades that I've taken this week, and I'm not trading today because it is a bank holiday, which I did not recognize last night. But let's go ahead and go over all the trades I've taken. Also, this indicator, the Days QT Suite, drops today in the QT bundle, so I suggest going and getting that before the price increases. Let's go ahead and start with Monday. Monday was pretty chill, inherently. I was watching to see what we'd have, going into the day, and, excuse me, there was this sweep of London lows right here, and let me go ahead and take us back to here. There we go. There's a sweep of London lows there, and here we did not sleep London lows. That's a really big analog. So there was SMT on those lows. So technically you could have longed right here. And there was a change in state of delivery right there. But your targets would have been probably these previous day highs and you wouldn't have gotten them. So I didn't take that just because I woke up late because I don't actually trade Mondays and this was a paper trade. That's why. Otherwise I probably would have taken this, especially with such a big rejection wick. It's a really solid entry. Yeah, no. I woke up at like 9:45 over here and I saw us drop through and we dropped all the way down to here. We hit an old NWOG and Asia lows, which we SMT'd off of. It's a daily SMT. And we had this change of state of delivery right here. The only reason I entered any lower than that is if you look at the change of state of delivery and you measure it down to the bottom, that's 78 points. And I want something that's within 50 points of the bottom, so like roughly in this range. One thing that I did see is that we had this SD right here, and I had and with this wick manipulating an NWOG and Asia lows, I felt fairly confident, given that we would take out this change in state of delivery. So I went ahead and I just entered on this SD. So I entered longs right there, and I just placed my stops below the new swing low right there. And then I targeted previous day highs. That was my entire trade. Oh, also, I haven't gone over high time frame bias with you guys yet. Anyways, that's the trade. But I think that we are going to be bullish, personally, going into probably next week, and the week after we will probably reverse. But I think next week we will go in and we'll come in one of the assets, either MES or MNQ, will come and take out these all-time highs. Going into Tuesday, I took shorts, which was dumb because in pre-market I should have recognized that I would have entered pretty much at whatever level this is. It's just like true week open. Yeah, it's true week open. This pink level down here is true week open. This is true day open. This is true session open. So I would have been below a bunch of them, but I also would have been like at true week open. But I still should have entered because this is a manipulation of, I think this was an end dog that I should have just entered on this change of state of delivery right here, put my stops down here, and I could have taken this to Asia highs. Previous day highs would have been the external draw on liquidity, but it would have been a nice one. And we went directly to previous day highs. <sighs> Oh, excuse me. It's early. At least where I am. So that was Tuesdays. Tuesdays was really simple. I ended up taking shorts because I thought we swept previous day highs. We did not. And I took changes saved. I didn't take this changes saved delivery, but I took a retrace up to this order block and got stopped out on this candle. Let's go to Wednesday's trade. Wednesday's trade was annoying. I was traveling this day and I took shorts. So, if we go ahead, it's everything. So I wasn't about to take. I know London lows we're taking out later on MES, but I wasn't about to take a London low trade just because we had already taken out London lows on MNQ. Coffee. So that was my view on that. What I saw from there was that this is MNQ. We went down and then reversed and came up, and we were significantly more bullish on MES. That's why we have all these SMTs. So we made this huge SMT, which I was happy with. Here I am, I'm going to turn my labels on so you guys can see. 1 second. I'm just going to turn these labels on. Okay, so labels are now on. Oh, okay, never mind. In that case, I'm going to turn off all the SMTs because they're annoying. Okay, so we have, so we have this high right here, which I saw while I was driving. Actually, someone else was driving, but I was in the car. There's a bunch of SDs in here. But we have a change save delivery right here. And from here, we kind of just break to the downside. My entry was somewhere in here. It wasn't all the way down here because this is, I can't tell if this is 50. Oh no, it probably was there because that's within 50 points of the top. But we then started to go to the downside, and keep in mind, this was not my take profit, but this was, and we hit 50% of the targeted range. I moved stops to break even, and I got stopped out right here. At that point, I was like, oh, well, that's annoying, and I kind of just gave up on trading anymore because I was busy with traveling and whatnot. But then I recognized that this is actually turtle soup. And if you look right here, this turtle soup then leads to a change in state of delivery right there. It's a great change in state of delivery, and you could have taken that trade all the way down to my target, which was down here, which would have gotten taken out in aftermarket, after hours. But, we don't do that, I guess. Sorry the labels weren't showing. It's just because I didn't have us in replay all the way back here, but tons of SMTs. But yeah, I needed to identify that this was turtle soup, take a change save delivery down to this down here, which I actually ended up trading, but it was like a trade somewhere in here. I just took one later in the day, like right before I got on the plane, and I just left it there. And then when I landed, we were all the way down here right before market closed, and I just closed out the position. That was Wednesday's trade. And then let's look at yesterday's trade because I actually thought that it was pretty fun. I was a big fan of yesterday's trade. Here we are. Okay, so I was looking at how you could have taken longs yesterday because we did manipulate this gap right here, but I thought against it and thought about how it would be useless. So yeah. Um. Okay. Um. Alrighty. So we had this SMT right here, which had an SMT here, but then on MES, if you also look, it wasn't just that high. See, there's this high that gets taken out, and then there's an old, and then there's the previous day high, and then we continue to the upside. And all of the London highs and everything had already been taken out. So it was proper trade, I guess is the only way to go about that. Yeah, because we didn't take out previous day highs, which were all the way up here. So that's really the only SMT I needed because this one was huge. And I took it, and I had a chain of save delivery, and I entered right on that right there. So if you look at this, this is like a change of state of delivery by one tick, but it technically is a change of state of delivery. So I shorted right there, and I just put my stops up here. One thing I do want to talk about though is price, like kind of just rips to the downside right here. And what I did is I had already taken a loss back here because I tried taking longs and I would have been fine, but I got stopped out somewhere in here. And in doing so, I moved my stops right here, but I was incredibly lucky in the sense that I placed my stops one tick above this high. Had I placed them literally any lower, I would have gotten stopped out, and had price felt the need to take out this buy side liquidity, I would have been screwed. So I am very lucky in that sense, and I need to recognize that. Why is there a gap over here? I don't know what this is. That is odd. Okay. But had I done that any differently, I would have been stopped out. I would have missed a huge part of profit all the way down here. And I took profit at, I think it was just this low. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here. Go get that day to 2 sweet indicator, and I will see you all on the next one. See you guys. Thanks for watching.